Ladies and gentlemen, we bring to you a brand new episode of Big Mecha, but not huge. Today, we have a brand new guest who has not been on this podcast before. He has been on Toku for 2. Today, I bring you Videonoise TV. Say hello, Videonoise.
Hey, what's up? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I haven't had you on an episode since our Dragon Ball Evolution special. That was a great movie.
Yeah, no, I miss it. I'll probably see it in another decade or something. Yeah, I tried to keep up with Metabots, but I couldn't hack it.
It's all right. Metabots it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Joining Videonoise, we've got our returning guests, Wilhelm and David. Say hello, Wilhelm and David.
Hello, David and Wilhelm.
Hello.
Yeah.
And now back to front, Wilhelm.
He's...
Greetings, Umlehlu and Divad.
All right, so we're going to start off weird. Cool. Anyways.
Oh, he said it in
Motherfucker,
reverse.
2 minutes
Okay, I
in.
get it. There you go.
Oh, God damn it.
Listen, that's just your
All right.
fault now, actually. Because you basically called his bluff and you didn't know you were calling his bluff. And then he called it and he was right. So it's your fault.
I'll give you that just this once. This is your one time. This is your one time tonight.
You're not Spider-Man.
Everybody
You're
gets
Forward.
one.
Yeah, there's a timely joke.
Speaking of timely,
2007.
speaking of timely, we're
Ooh.
going to be talking.
Actually, shit, that might be from
We're talking
2007.
about this
God
wonderful
dang.
2007 flick called Transmorphers. No, sorry, Transformers. By
Yep.
Michael Bay.
No, we're watching the good one by
Is it
Probably
the
not
good
Michael
one,
Bay.
though? I mean, we all watch this.
There's also Transmutators on Tubi.
What?
There's a third.
Oh,
offshoot.
That's a new
I did
one.
not know
there's
that.
a third.
Oh, we got this well goes deep,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Before we got on here, Will was actually talking about all the different movies that are like Transmorphers, and there's just so many of them. I don't think I have enough brain rot
Oh
to
yeah, no, they're
actually
so good.
Yeah,
handle
Sean got
that.
stun locked on Incredible Bulk.
Oh,
I did.
that one is pretty good. Oh, you'll like this one. For those of you in America's southern region, they have
Yeah,
a Meth
there you
Gator
go.
movie that just came
I
out this
did hear
year.
about that. Yeah, that was supposed to be like Cocaine Bear.
Instead of Cocaine Bear, it's
Yeah.
Meth Gator.
The drug monster universe.
So this movie, we're going to do a little bit differently compared to how we usually do our movie reviews, where we normally go through the plot. This one, I kind of just want to have it be like freeform. Just keep it as is and see how we want to approach this. So,
I mean, people kind of know this movie's almost 20
right,
years
I
old
mean,
now.
Technically, Pacific Rim was like, what, 15? And, we still did it, but more people, I want to make sure we don't go into the 4-hour range.
I would argue Pac Rim did not get as big. Transformers made
That is
all of the
true.
money for
Looking at the
10
budget right now,
years,
the first
at
movie
least.
had a budget of 145 to 200 million, and the box office was 709.7 million.
Oh yeah.
that's a lot of
And
money.
That's just the first one. I know that the second
That's
and
why
third
he
one
got a
ended up
2.
making a lot more.
They went higher. The first one came out and it was untested, and then
I will
made
take
even
credit
more money.
to Transformers for as long as it went on. I know it's still going, but like whenever I think about like how much it felt like Transformers these movies were like you couldn't escape it, almost like Marvel movies before Endgame. I think the first 4 is what comes to mind the strongest.
Mhm.
And yeah, no, like they did something
Yep.
pretty weird in which each one progressively made more money than the last one, which is usually not what happens. It feels like.
No, not generally. They actually managed to make
wasn't
people
until
like
after
it more.
the third one where it did start getting a lot more diminishing
Yeah.
returns.
Which is why they made Bumblebee as a reboot, because they were like, all right, we burned this into the ground, and even Michael Bay was like, I'm out.
Well,
Some
at
good
least
guys.
with Bumblebee, he's still a producer, but he's still a producer in Transformers in general. I
Nice.
mean, even with Transformers 1, he was actually a producer on that.
but he's heavily off creatively. He's like, I'm here for like money and to make money on this and to give you guys the clout with the studio so that they pay attention to you.
Thank God for that.
Which, thank you. Because
I'm
Transformers
pretty
1
sure probably.
is amazing, so
I have to imagine because how
100% people should
Hasbro is
watch
so
that.
overbearing with their IP at times, especially if you're a follower like
they're
I am of
kinda
the D&D and Wizard of the Coast shit, you know more so. I
Good
could
old
totally
Watsy.
see the scenario in which Hasbro is like, we love the Transformers movies, we're not going to sign off unless Michael Bay's name's on it. Because he did the first 3.
Yeah,
And
that
he's
makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's nice enough to do it. Yes, he makes a bunch of money on it, but I appreciate him using essentially his powers for good and being like, creatively, I'm tapped out. I don't care anymore. But I want other people to keep making stuff. And Bumblebee came out and people loved the redesign, the reboot, the different angle they were going for. Then they made a second one. And now we have Transformers 1, which is, again, a brand new direction creatively for the West, at least. And just a beautiful movie. So it's nice to see it continue.
Yes, and I definitely want to revisit that one when it's widely available for everybody on digital. So I know that Will and I already did a review for that, and we did just a full-on like 2.5 hour review on that. But I'd be happy to revisit that once
Pretty
everybody's
much.
able.
I'm
to
probably
watch
going to
that.
rent it online at some point.
Oh yeah, getting people's views would be great.
Well, it's kind of funny as we continue
But-
on with the podcast. We go through the Transformers movies. I'm going to be in a point in which it's going to be new to me because I've only watched the first 3. I watched the first 3 with Sean back in the day, and I never went back to watch any of them afterwards. Right? So
Oh,
so
you're
after
in
the
for a
third
treat.
one, it'll be completely new territory for me.
I mean, no future spoilers, but
I think that might be where I
I
am.
mean, no future spoilers, but you're gonna love the fact of what they do with Bumblebee in number 5.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
What was that video?
Oh, I said it's a pretty good movie, Bumblebee.
Oh, Bumblebee's great, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
he ends up fighting Hitler at some point.
But, what you guys were saying, like, about Transformers, like, I do agree, like, sometimes you probably focus on the negative or the cheesy aspects. Like, lore-wise and action-wise, Michael Bay is really good at all that.
Oh, yeah.
Everything he did with Transformers is really good. Like, you can't knock him for maybe lore a little, but action-wise, I mean, that's some of the best, like, action movies.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
The man has been making action movies for decades, and he's not bad at them. There's like 4 bad boy movies, and those have the thinnest of plots,
Yeah.
but they are action movie. He knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah,
He
yeah.
knows how to make it work. It's just,
He can't...
we'll get into it with this movie,
Yeah.
but sometimes the other stuff kind of falls
Yeah.
away.
He's not good with dialogue.
Oh, God,
and
is he
with
not?
people.
Oh,
and
no.
and not so much like characterization. You don't even have to go that deep, but surface level, just characters, what he thinks are funny characters, or the little like stereotypical characters are just
yeah.
kind of very. It feels very like a 5-year-old came up. A 5-year-old in like 1994.
So-
it doesn't feel relative to the time. And
Let's get into that. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the characters first. So obviously we have our Sam Witwicky, who's played by Shia LaBeouf. We have a whole bunch of other side characters, and then we also have all the different Autobots and Decepticons. The Decepticons don't show up until maybe the last third of the movie.
Except for
Except
Blackout.
for Blackout, yeah.
yeah.
Still one of the strongest
Oh,
scenes
Blackout
in the
and
film.
Barricade. Blackout has like the best, and it's still a terrifying moment at the very beginning where he's a helicopter that comes in,
100%.
and you get to see him just
And he just starts wrecking
and
that base.
slowly transforms, and then as soon as he gets up, he starts terrorizing and destroying everything. Oh god!
Just absolutely stomping them into the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
And it's like, yep, that sounds pretty
Yeah,
accurate.
That was one
Oh,
of
look.
those movie moments where like
hmm
it felt like I don't want to be dramatic, but it's kind of like it felt like the movies again at that time. I remember being a senior in high school, so I wasn't really amazed by things on film. There's just you're thinking about other things and stuff, but I remember being in that movie like, damn. When he transformed
Yeah.
for the first time, it's like that they made that look good because all you had seen
He
it
also-
in was cartoons, like
Yep.
up till
He-
that time.
He also very smartly was like, this is a Transformers movie. I'm going to keep the stupid sound effect. I don't care.
Literally.
So
at the
very
beginning.
loudly, there is nothing else happening, and they play that sound. There's like a half-second pause, and then the sounds of all the metal on him moving starts moving, because they're just letting you know this is a Transformers movie. Yes, we care.
Yeah.
And it's stupid and it's fan servicey, but it's great.
No,
That's
it was really
just
effective.
enough.
I mean,
It's
through,
fine.
through those speakers, that sound effect was insane.
so cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
So then we've also got, I'm just going to go down the cast that they have listed on the wiki here. You've got Josh Duhamel as one of the soldiers. He's Captain Lennox.
Oh yeah, that's who that is.
You've got Megan Fox as Michaela Baines, who we're going to get into her in a little bit. Tyrese as another one of the soldiers as Sergeant Robert Epps. Rachel Taylor, who, if you don't recognize her, she's the Aussie girl in this movie who has no business being in this movie, along with Anthony Anderson and John Voight.
John Voight is in this movie, isn't he?
And she plays an NSA agent, and you may recognize her from Jessica Jones as Jessica Jones' best friend in that show. John Turturro, who
he's in like 5 of these
he's
movies.
in pretty much all of them, except for Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast.
Because those take place in the past, and he would have been part of Sector 7, because theoretically that's the same universe or something.
And with him, his character in this movie, he's utterly despicable. I can't stand him.
He's just kind of awful.
Yeah. Again, we'll get into him in a little bit. Then you've got Kevin Dunn and Julie White as Sam's parents. Now, let's talk about this parents real quick. David, as Videonoise, as you were mentioning before, how they can act like as a 5-year-old caricature of what you expect parents to be. Yeah. That's exactly what they were.
See, it's funny you say that because those are the characters I kind of like.
Those are the only stupid characters that I do like.
Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna
but they are like those like every like Small Soldier. And that's literally the dad in Small Soldiers.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Where, it's just like, oh, what's going on? Don't mess up my house, my lawn, with crazy things happening. I think the mom's kind of funny.
The mom was great, and she gets even wackier in the second movie.
I do have a question for everybody. Are you guys familiar with Woody Allen at all?
I know of him. I don't think I've ever watched any movie of his other than Ants.
Which is fine. That gets across everything you need to know. He's generally very neurotic. He essentially plays himself in like any movie that he makes that he's in. He's always that character filled with neuroses and like anxiety. I didn't realize Sam Witwicky is basically teenage Woody Allen.
Yeah, they kind of do that.
They play that up really hard, and I'm like, okay, I get it, but he is essentially like half a second away from a panic attack every scene he's in, and I'm like, dude, is he high?
Yeah,
like, is he okay?
Sweating. He's always sweating.
He's always sweating. He can barely talk. He twitches all the time, and it's like, dude, there's a reason the cop asked if you're high. You look like you're tweaking.
It's kind of funny you say this because right now, I'm right now the movie's playing in front of me, but it's muted, right? Something I can look at while we're talking, and so I've had looking back on this movie and then looking back with hindsight of like current time information, looking back at then. Remember when I was first watching this movie in the theaters, being like, man, Shia LaBeouf is like really bad at acting. Right, or this is really annoying to see when you're younger, right? When I was younger, but then I know how I figured out as time went on, and I retroactively look back at his stuff. He actually is really good. Like he is committed to whatever he does. So he commits to this nervous kid, but he's doing it too much because he's doing it when he's just trying to buy a car, and he has the same kind of nervous energy as he is when there's a giant robot demon in front of him trying to murder him, and he's still like the same level of neuroticism, and it's like, it's a little too much, but like, he had an idea for this character and he ran with it. But I actually like Sam Witwicky now more so in my current age than I did back then when I first watched it. I think he works a lot in a lot of his scenes compared to knowing him as an actor, right, and watching his stuff and seeing him grow compared to, let's say, what's her name? Megan Fox. Yeah, Megan Fox. That's a rough one, I gotta say.
Yeah, she can't act. It's
Like if the
it's really bad. I try every time I watch it. I try to give it.
if those Hollywood rumors are true that Michael Bay did like coerce her to do things she didn't want to do, or else she would be
Yeah.
off the film, I feel like he didn't need to do that. He just could have fired her just based on the merits of how she acted in the first movie, and that would have been fine.
Yeah, all that stuff. Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and dive into the whole Megan Fox thing about it.
We're talking about the cast.
There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, let's just dive into the whole way that they treat her in this movie. All right, granted, she's not a great actress. Fine, whatever. The way
This
that
is one
they,
of her first roles too.
yeah, one of the things that they do about this is that they tend to constantly sexualize her in this. Now, granted,
Oh well, it's horror. It's written so cheesy.
granted,
It's
one of the
just-
ways that they do it is through Sam's point of view, because Sam is a teenager. You know, he's obviously got those raging hormones. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Then you
Yes, it
got
does.
Agent
They're in the same
Simmons.
class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was.
You think Simmons was the self-insert for Bay? If he's that fucked up that he forced people to do things like that?
It's possible. It's utterly possible, because that whole thing was like, criminals are hot. Like, oh god.
Yeah, that's so random that he says
He's like
that.
40,
It's
and he's
still-
saying that about a minor, and they explicitly said, like, 45 seconds before that, this is my I can do anything badge, and he's not joking. They're one of the, like, black units, essentially. Black, like, the shit that the CIA does. He can literally do anything. The reason that he doesn't even say anything, they just straight kidnap his parents and him, is because their unit's allowed to do that. They are literally allowed to do anything if it pushes their mission forward, they could just go do it. So they are the people who can show up at your door, take you, and just you're a random missing person for the next 20, 30 years. So
Yep.
that's really fucking creepy to immediately then go into criminals are hot, and it's like, dude, that's a fucking minor.
Yeah. I was gonna say that.
That's
It's
disgusting.
it's so random. It's
Exactly.
It's thrown in right after another line. I think he.
Well, he's
says
also
something like,
openly
you didn't know
racist
she
to
has
her.
a yeah, you didn't know she
He's-
has a record. Criminals are hot.
Yeah, and then
It's
he's
just,
like,
like,
it's in
so
your
quick.
blood and shit like that. And I'm like, oh, so you're racist and apparently possibly a pedophile.
Yeah.
Why are we supposed to like you? That's terrible.
They don't handle. This movie handles race kind of corny.
Oh my god,
At the
the very
beginning
beginning with the
with
Spanish guy?
Okay, so this is like a special forces unit. That means this
Oh,
guy
yeah.
has gone through so many classes. He probably knows Arabic and all
Oh,
kinds
they all
of
do.
stuff. You know, yeah, exactly. Like
They're fucking
and he
spec
can't-
ops
he can't-
operators.
He can't stop accidentally. He doesn't know how to verbalize things in anything other than Spanish, and everyone has to keep reminding him, like, we don't speak Spanish.
English,
like,
please. Yeah.
English, senor. Like that. Yeah, that's that lazy.
That's also kind of lazy for them too, because I can almost guarantee a bunch of them have, depending on how long they've been there, I bet they've done ops in South America, and like half of them are fluent in Spanish.
Yeah, have to
Like
know.
like
Yeah.
for real, they've done shit with the DEA
That's
and all
what I
that.
mean, it's
They're
just,
probably
like, not
fucking
a
fluent in
conversation.
Spanish.
Yeah, that's maybe a conversation with like 18-year-old like privates
Oh,
in
yeah.
the military.
Yeah, just
that,
dumbass
you
kids
know,
just out of fucking high
dropped-
school.
Yeah, that were just dropped in war somewhere in like World War II, but like not these guys have like worked their way up.
hmm
Yeah, that they kind of do that. Where they handle race really well in this movie is how much the like Autobots and Decepticons hate each other.
Yeah.
like the first time that Bumblebee and what's the cop?
A barricade.
The cop one. Is that the first one he fights?
Yeah, barricade. Where it says to punish
Yeah.
and enslave.
Yeah.
Which
The
is
noises they make to each other, it's just like pure hate. I love it.
Mhm.
Like they did such a good job at like showing split second how much they like right away they identify, oh, that's a Autobot. Like I want to kill him just right away. and they don't stand and talk or anything. They
Nope.
never really stand and talk. Like the moment Decepticon sees an Autobot, they're just like going to kill them.
Oh yeah, even when
There's
like
no speech
Megatron
or
goes on
anything.
screen, like as soon as he awakens,
Yeah.
he starts shooting shit.
He just
Yeah,
starts killing
just
people,
starts killing
100%.
Yep, right away. He doesn't. He gives that like I am Megatron thing because he wants them to all know. Like
Yeah, he's just
he's cocky. He's
He's just
them to know
yelling.
I'm the one that kills you. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, actually, now that you bring that up real quick, as an aside to add to that, one of the things I like about Michael Bay, and I've only expressed it to a few of my friends, Sean knows this, is I really am kind of sick of the origin story in a lot of things. Like, I don't need to see Batman's parents die for the
Yeah.
15th time. I don't need to see Uncle Ben get shot again. I don't need to see it, right? So I like how Transformers pretty much, they don't try to, like, talk about, this is the reason why Autobots and Decepticons hate each other. That's why it's on sight when they see each other. They're just like, no, this is just the reality in which they're at right now. The only people who are going to talk to each other are the ones with the longest history, which is Optimus and Megatron. Everyone else,
he calls him
right?
brother.
They go, everyone else is on board.
Mhm.
The rest of us, we're on board. These are the lines, right? There is no like, oh yes, 1,000 years ago. No, like you get a little bit of that sprinkled in the beginning and sprinkled in at the end, and that's it. And I kind of like that. Right now, it's not about what happened in the past. It's what's happening right now.
Yep. The point is, a
Yeah, they
thing
don't
has
spend
happened.
too much time on it. Yeah, and it's not until late. I don't want to spoil when that is.
Oh, just say it.
But- no, I don't. I'm not that kind of. Sean loves to just blatantly.
Well, this is a spoiler-filled.
spoil things.
Talk all you want about
Well,
this
I'm
movie.
saying late. Yeah, about this movie, but I'm talking about later on in the series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You do see more of the past.
Yeah, there's
Oh.
one of the movies they talk about like an ancient order, blah blah blah, and by the time we get to the third
Yeah.
movie, I think you're gonna get more like Autobots who were on the planet longer, Decepticons who were here longer. They talk more about their history because they drag in more people for them to fight, and then they completely lose the plot around the fourth movie,
Yeah.
and just that's why they don't have that many. After
I
that.
think the one with the most lore I can think of out of the first three, I think is the third one with Leonard Nimoy's character. I think
Yeah,
it's the one.
that's the one that
Yeah.
I'm mostly talking about.
And which makes sense. I think weirdly enough, I think that makes sense because you just can't keep. Granted, yes, they do literally keep doing it, but you just can't keep showing robots exploding repeatedly. You have to, like, at that point in time, you have to like spread it out a little bit. I like the strength of Transformers is the introduction, is the conflict, and how each side is going about solving their individual like goals for this. Right? They both want the box. And one is obviously more self-sacrificing than the other, and one side clearly doesn't want the other one to have it, and that's the problem. And then as time goes on, then you get, okay, we've been living here for a decade. What's your story? It'd be kind of weird. I feel like it'd be weirder if they never bothered to even ask the history of the Autobots or Transformers as a whole. If like I've been hanging out with you for 10 years and I don't know where you're from, like you know what I mean? Like that'd be weird.
Well, it's not just that. It's you've been fighting this conflict for literally millennia, and it's like you don't have one story to tell me about that. Like, you killed your planet. What do you mean it's dead? Like,
yeah, think
define
about that. Think about
for
from
me.
humans.
Like, you
Think
came
about
here.
from a
What?
human perspective. What do you mean your planet died? That is such
like Mercury? Like it's gone? Or like
that's
how
such
hard?
a foreign concept to just anyone. Like, I granted this is the movie, but like, imagine if you meet someone, whether or not they look like you, but they're like, yeah, I'm from a planet. My planet, it died, and you're like, wait, that can, like, we know that can happen with scientists and what we have right now in real life, but the concept of meeting someone from a dead planet is like crazy foreign thing. I feel like that has to be like multiple days of conversation. But you skip it here.
Yeah, and they're also not like normal robots. Like they've got like a biology element, like a bio element.
They're
So it's
yeah,
just
they lean into the
that confuses
spirituality
you even
thing
more.
and all that in the third one where they introduce it.
Yeah,
more.
I think I told these two in the one of the reviews, in a Pacific Rim review, in which I don't consider Transformer mecha because they don't like, they're big robots, yes, but like that's just their race. That's just who they are. They don't
they're
get in
automatons.
anything. They just are the thing, right? So
Yeah.
Because they are technically an alien.
yeah,
race,
so
right?
so it's these big robots.
It's like Star
Yeah,
Trek.
exactly.
It's not a just because it happens to be mechanical doesn't mean it is a mecha.
But-
Mecha as a genre is more like your Gundams and stuff like that, where it's people getting into an exosuit and punching each other.
Yeah, but however, I do. I know this is not in this movie, but I guess we're kind of just talking all over the place real quick. I do like the additions they make later on with the, equipping shit into people. I'm like, yeah, I want more of that.
Yeah, I will say that the one thing I don't like as we go forward through these is the fact that Michael Bay he decided the core cast is Megatron, Sam, Optimus, and literally everyone else. Oh, and Bumblebee. And then everyone else he doesn't give a shit about. So he just like introduces and kills robots super quickly, and I'm like, I can't be attached if you're gonna literally murk them every movie.
It's really weird.
Like, what's the point?
Yeah,
They're gonna be dead 5 minutes into the next film. I mean, spoiler, they kill RC 5 minutes into the second movie when they introduce the character. And it's like, okay. That was RC, past tense. I guess we're moving on.
Well, the RC
I don't get
twins.
why they killed Jazz in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
That was unnecessary.
What'd you say?
It's just like, okay.
Oh, well, they killed...
when they
yeah,
killed Jazz.
exactly, because that's what he does. He kills an Autobot and Decepticon, or multiple. I mean, fucking, he takes out Bone Crusher, and Bone Crusher gets about 5 minutes of screen time.
Okay,
Most
that
of
was
that
an
is
epic
getting
fight,
killed.
Though.
Oh, it's a great fight. It's just, he literally introduced him so he could murder him.
I have a
That's
weird...
it. He's just there
I
to
have
die.
a weird perspective of scale because I have only been I've been keeping up with some Transformers stuff based on YouTube shorts, right? So I know the current comic Optimus Prime is kind of going hard in the paint with like not repairing himself while he gets his people fixed back up. And in the comics, they kind of show him to be he is taller than everyone he's fighting, but it isn't so drastically cartoonish compared to the movies that I'm seeing here. Like some Autobots are like half the size of Megatron.
Oh, Bumblebee is like Optimus's waist.
But in the comic, Bumblebee comes up to like almost midway on his chest, I think. Like,
yeah, it depends on the continuity, but yeah, he's short, but he's like a guy who's 5 foot something, not 3 foot.
I think
he's not a Ninja
they
Turtle.
Can never actually figure out his supposed size because it constantly changes throughout the movies. It's not even based on the vehicle because even in the new Bumblebee movie, his size is still relatively large. No, it's actually.
I feel like he's small in Bumblebee.
He's a little smaller in Bumblebee, but like in other scenes, he's still larger. It makes no sense.
Scale is a difficult thing to do because remember he's not real, and the only way to do scale is to have something to compare to.
He's real to me, damn it.
Sean, I need you here. I need you here. The Transformers is not a historical. It's not a historical tape. It's not. It's not real. But don't worry, Santa is real, and he's coming to touch you this Christmas.
Oh, well, he already did in Terrifier 3. But anyway.
So what I'm getting at is, besides the fact that historically it's 9/11 then Transformers movie in real life, right? That's a historical record, right? Both these things happen. No, I'm kidding.
God damn.
So speaking kind of that, of like international relations, one of the story things that bothers me though about that movie is that all technology up to that point was studied.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all. I just that went in my head and out the other side. I'm like, well, that's a stupid thing to write into your movie. Are you fucking kidding me?
Dumb,
the U.S. didn't invent all of that,
dumb.
and we're the only ones studying him. What the fuck are you talking about? So the U.S. is a utopia, and everyone else in the world is like falling apart? No, it's our world.
So what happened to the 80s Japanese technology revolution? That was all just the U.S. masquerading as Megatron masquerading as the U.S.
Well, no, it was
bidding for like different points in time as to who could actually study him.
Maybe, one thing you could say, maybe they study him, get a discovery, and then they like CIA drop it off, and they're like, just so you know, you found this, you went through these experiments to do it, and that's what you're going to write in your reports, and that's what you're going to say until the day you die. And if you say anything different, we will know. And then they walk away, and that person shits himself a little and goes, okay, I guess I invented this. And then they move forward.
I think that happened. I have to think one of the writers is a Trekkie, because that exact situation happened in Star Trek Voyager, where a dude gets a spaceship from the 23rd century, and he basically creates a pseudo like hyperactive tech company that like basically took credit for some Japanese inventions and some American inventions, and then we're like, yeah, no, I totally made them. He's like their version of like Elon Musk, essentially, before Elon Musk was a thing, because he was a thing in the 90s. But like effectively that kind of person in Star Trek.
He makes himself out to be that sort of person when he's not. He's just lying by being a time traveler.
Yeah, so when I saw that part in this movie where they're like, yeah, all this technology based off Megatron, whatever, part of me was like, I got that like weird Trekkie vibe where it's like, I wonder if they watched that Voyager episode. And he just kind of ran with it.
Probably.
I wouldn't be surprised. Roberto Orsi is who you're talking about?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, he does all the side.
Oh, so there's actually a good chance, quite literally from, okay then, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, that's also, it's not a huge plot point because it doesn't matter. It's a throwaway line from a character who's just trying to impress everyone else, and he could be lying anyway.
I think it was their excuse to have every time something is infected with the Q,
that too,
it beep.
Because it's Transformer tech, so all the technology we have is descended of them. Because, for instance, a phone invented by Alexander Graham Bell before Megatron, like when they were still trying to figure out what that was, probably wouldn't transform because that wasn't from Megatron. But some of the like way more impressive stuff, like microwaves and flying out of the planet's atmosphere and all this other shit, that they could.
Tell me you don't want a Decepticon Xbox or a Mountain Dew?
They already had that. Did you not watch the movie? Did you miss that scene?
Oh no, I saw. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. I thought you wiped it out of your memory or something. I was like, man.
No.
You always told me that was your favorite part.
I don't wipe. Oh, my favorite part? All right. If we want to go into actual scenes real quick, it's actually when the Autobots launch onto the Earth. It's actually a really well done scene.
Oh, when they all crash?
When they land and kill thousands.
They kill like 10. It's fine.
To be fair, with how some of the humans act in the last part of the movie, it doesn't take much to kill a human. Because, like, God, they're gawking.
Oh, okay, no. If we're talking about humans, though, best death is still the one where Megatron flicks, I think it's Michael Bay, flicks him into a car.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
I fucking love that part.
Oh,
Pink.
yeah. He goes like, ugh.
Yeah, he's like, ugh. Flicks him into a car.
But no, I like it when there's that one bot that's climbing out of the pool and the little girl's standing there, and she's not freaked out at all. She's like, excuse me, are you the Tooth Fairy? It's so
weird.
cheap, but I'm like, you know what?
Line.
It's really good.
Wait a minute, isn't that Optimus?
No.
It's either Optimus or it's Ironhide.
That one should be. I thought that was Ironhide or Starscream. I can't remember.
No, it wasn't Starscream.
I thought they would make the one that interacted with a human in like a sentimental way.
But see, that's not what happens. Because Optimus, when he becomes a truck, he's on a hill with a bunch of dirt. So he landed in like the middle of nowhere.
You can't really tell where they're going with that because it's just like fucking, like it looks like it's filmed out of order, so you can't. Really tell.
It jumps around so much that it's kind of hard to follow who does what. Although I will say, all of their protoforms, because now I'm watching the movie at home, I can actually see them. All of their protoforms all look really, really, really similar to each other because they're a uniform alien race. That makes sense.
They're a race, yeah. So. Yeah, they all look like Grievous.
That's Michael Bay. He wants them to look like insects, so they all look like insects, which is like my least favorite design thing because they all look that way, and it kind of wears on me after a while.
It's kind of funny you say that because I'm watching the part with the Scorpion fight right now, real quick.
Yeah, that Scorpion fight is fucking cool though.
It's just like, oh look, insect.
Yeah, that one guy gets murdered so hard though. That dude in the beginning just gets picked up and dragged. I was like, ooh, that's the alien death.
Titus.
What? Is it the brother from Titus?
Yeah, that's the brother from Titus. Yeah.
He got it in the worst way possible. Then, goddamn.
He did.
I feel like the more close combat you are with a Transformer, like the little ones, I feel like hurt more than like
the one that's shooting the metal discs into people's chests and like collapsing their fucking heart in their lungs. I was like, that looks painful.
Yeah,
that looks like a terrible way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd rather be running from
I think I'd rather just be vaporized by a laser. Just a quick on-off. I'm good. I don't need to take a horrifyingly sharp piece of metal and then probably slowly bleed out internally for 10 minutes. Yeah, while you watch it just run away and like, well, this is how I die.
Just turns into a switch in front of you as you die.
But let's go down as to favorite moments for you guys. Let's start off with Videonoise. What you got?
Well, that says a lot.
I think that first fight. I think that first fight with Bumblebee. Also, when Megatron wakes up, I really like when Megatron wakes up, and anything with Starscream too. I think they did those the way
they made him a lot like a bird, which was very cool because they really leaned into it. They had him like perch by grabbing things with his feet. He's a giant Dorito, essentially. He's a big triangle, and he always looks really cool. And the fight scene where he's in the air against other F-22s, that's a really cool scene. It's very well done.
I was about ready to point that out. Yeah,
really well. Is that the one who Megatron speaks to first when
he goes like, "You failed me again, you piece of shit."
He's like, even after all these years,
I think it's so funny. Yeah, like I think it's so funny. The first thing he says to him is, "I live to serve Megatron."
Yeah.
Like, God, already.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
What a brown noser.
Yeah.
Well, if he isn't serving him, he's going to do everything he can to usurp him.
Mm-hmm. They don't really get into that though in these movies. They don't express his wanting to be in charge very well.
They kind of do, I think, either in the second or the third one.
Yeah, but like after the first one, Megatron dies, and it's like that's the perfect opportunity for the second movie to just not have Megatron and to just have Starscream, and then the third movie has Galvatron, and then you literally get to do the G1 thing, and then you could even have Starscream talking crap, and then Galvatron just like walks up. You can even be stupid, have him walk up behind him, tap him on the shoulder, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then he just rips his head off or something, and he's.
Nah, they'll do the anime thing where they'll put in Galvatron for a movie, and then he's back to Megatron later.
For no reason.
Yep. All right, David, what about you?
This is going to be a huge curveball. It's only because I like the trope when I see it, and it's always cheesy whenever you see it. One of my favorite scenes is actually all the humans fighting the little robot when they're trying to like send Morse code over to get the airstrike.
Fuck that!
Because
scene.
I
Fuck
like
you.
the president using a shotgun and providing cover. Listen, there's so many times in movies that the president does one of two things: he has to shoot someone, or he has to run. There's no exception in a movie when you see a president. It's one of those two things. They either run or get a gun. Independence Day, he got inside of a gun. What was the one with oh my God, was it Tommy David Jones where he's basically becomes like an assassin on a ship, an airplane? Oh my God, what is that called? Harrison Ford. Yeah, thank you. That was the one I'm thinking of. So yeah, he got the gun, right? And then this one, they give that old man an M4. And he just starts shooting at the stupid little robot.
The
Secretary
of Defense, yeah.
I hated it.
The president, they tried to make it's like
It's supposed to be during his presidency. It was GW.
Like, hey, give me one of them little ho-hos.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
ding dong. Yeah. It was a ding dong, sir.
It's just
close enough.
So whenever you have someone who's basically like high top U.S. cabinet level or president level, whenever they start doing things besides running, as long as it isn't like too bad, I tend to be like, all right, you know what, you're finally doing something. I'm not used to that, you know.
It is pretty random when he blows stuff.
They literally only have that in there just to give their character a purpose. That's the only thing, because you have those three characters literally doing nothing for the entire movie just to have that moment. So it's like, oh, Morse code for something that happens maybe for 5 seconds at the end of the movie. And no, fuck that scene, fuck everything about that.
Yeah, the hackers, I mean, you've said before that you don't like the human element in the Godzilla movies, but the hacker scenes in this make those look like masterpieces.
Yeah.
It's just like these are the top minds, and it's
This
like
is
three
very much has
teenagers
the
and-
vibes of 2014 legendary Godzilla movie, where all of the human parts, you're like, wow, really trying hard, aren't we? Mm-hmm. A lot of effort on screen right now.
Yeah, they really
I
wanna put
really,
them on the
really
same
care about what
scale.
happens to these people. Mm-hmm.
At least with 2014 Godzilla, they served a purpose for the
No,
plot.
they didn't. They took up screen
and, like,
time.
well, yes, that was their
God.
purpose.
Wasting time should never be the reason.
We
Unless the
have
point
to
of the
get to
film
a
is-
runtime.
And for this one, it's for an Anthony Anderson joke. He's like, "Oh my God, it's Wolverine!" And then John Turturro turns around and goes like, "That was very funny," and that's it.
Oh yeah, with the things, and also the Anthony Anderson. It's like lazy writing. Both him and they have both him and Bernie Mac yell at their grandmas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In that movie, it's like okay, we get it. Like,
It was infuriating.
I will say his cousin busting through the screen door always makes
that was funny.
He's like one of the best characters. Just he goes from doing DDR to like busting through that sliding glass door.
Well, he busts through the door and then falls in the pool because the guy literally tackles him into the pool for no reason.
Yeah. that part's funny, but yeah, Anthony Anderson. I mean, that was around that time, like Scary Movie and all that. He was playing the same.
Mm-hmm. It's the same role, like over and over and over. Granted, he's getting paid for it, but I assume the checks were nice. But there's really no depth and nothing going on.
Oh yeah.
As an actor, he probably was like, this kind of sucks. But at the same time, that does allow him to do whatever he wants eventually if he plays his cards right with the money. So.
Yeah. There's also a small little cameo. That guy from Community.
Oh, Jim Rash. Yeah.
And, yeah, he says that something gets attacked. Something of his got attacked. His dog went missing or something.
I remember him being on there. It was a very, very, very small moment.
Yeah, they're watching the news, and it's about the Transformers attacking, and he says something.
I think he said something about it being like, "Oh my God, it's a 9/11 again," or something like that.
No, they wouldn't make that.
I mean, not that soon, because that was 5 years, Sean. That was 5 years. They were still
5 or 6
cleaning up like Ground Zero. Not that long before this movie finished wrapping. They would not make that joke that soon. Michael Bay is just no. People keep doing it.
Now, Will,
No,
what about
me?
you?
Actually, real quick, just be like to actually answer it seriously, because real quick though, my actual other one that involves the Transformer proper is Megatron antagonizing Sam. I just like how dangerously petty he is.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's just following him,
Mm-hmm. He's just
and he
taunting
can
him.
yeah, he's just being petty. He's just being a
He
little
could
fucking
kill him
asshole.
at any moment. He could just reach his arm out and be like, haha, I've got you, but he just wants to fuck with him. Like a fucking like a cat playing with a mouse.
Yeah, to even add to, he goes, to even add to the whole cat playing with the mouse thing, he's like, if you give it to me, I'll make you my pet. You could be you'll be the last human to die.
I won't kill you today.
Like, I do.
Hugo Weaving did a really good
He
job.
did.
Yep.
With that.
I enjoyed that scene because my problem with a lot of these things is I want to like the Transformer v Transformer combat. The problem is it's like I'm playing Jeopardy. I'm looking for a fucking vowel, but instead I'm looking for a wide angle shot to understand what the fuck I'm seeing in these movies.
Yeah, Michael Bay has that problem sometimes.
So when you see just Megatron, I'm getting the wide angle that I want, and I could see how full of malice and petty Megatron is at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you know what? This is a good scene. I like this scene. This is good.
That's a good pick. What about you, Will?
So, asking which moment I like the most is pretty apt for this movie.
Anyways, we're moving on from here. Not kidding.
Bitch, I will record and then I will hack your computer and put that shit in myself. But it's like, hi, these are 5 minutes uninterrupted of me. I'm better than Sean.
I'm better than you. Anyways,
So I see this movie as essentially a lot of really good moments with a whole lot of white noise in between. Like I never fondly looked back on most of the scenes that didn't involve a transformer. It never occurred to me. And watching it again, yeah, all those scenes really aren't that strong. The characters are kind of flimsy, they're just sort of there. He didn't like try. He didn't put any real effort into those things. He put all the effort into the giant robots, which is arguably what you're there to see anyway. Unfortunately, they feel the need to like try to heavily invest you in all of these humans, and it's like, dude, it's called the Transformers. You can just cut out the people or minimize them, and people will still like it. It's called Transformers, not Sam Witwicky's Adventures with the Transformers. So I would say probably it just keeps sticking in my head the most is that opening scene with Blackout. It conveys the tone for the film. It shows how fucking good they are at the CG, at staging everything. He has the military, and while they're all losing their minds because a fucking alien robot, they don't know it's an alien, but a giant goddamn robot just stood up in the middle of their base and started wiping them all out, and they can't do anything to it. They are all running around, and a dude there has the bright idea of trying to cut the line, and the guy runs over. He's like, I can't open it, it's locked. And he just looks at him, turns to the left, grabs an axe, and just fucking cuts the cable, which makes sense. And that is if you are an actual person in the military, that's how they would do it. They will look at a situation and be like, how do I solve this? And in a few seconds, figure out the most efficient way. And even if it's the most barbaric, that doesn't matter. That solves the problem immediately. And that shows he knows what it's doing, he knows what it's after, he gets what's happening, and he just skips protocol entirely, solves the problem, and actually succeeds in cutting them off from their information, causing him to shoot out the tiny little spiky one that becomes a boombox, and then they have to go fight it later. And that scene probably just conveys the most to me of the movie. Also, side note, this movie's almost 20 years old. The CG holds up surprisingly well. Most of the film,
I was about to say, yeah.
we all know that's not actually there, sorta. This one still has pretty heavy use in certain scenes of animatronics, and they did build for scale. I think a Bumblebee, they built him, and I want to say they built an Optimus. I don't know if they ever put them in scenes. I think they built them mostly for like the cast to kind of realize that's how big this is, and like this is what you're gonna be looking at. Like that's what you're scaling to. But unless it's near something else, like even the scenes where the humans are sitting on them, very well done, very smooth. Once they transform and they're fully like done and they're a giant humanoid, the lighting and stuff still looks fucking real. It's impressive. This has very, very good special effects.
I will say, once it gets towards the latter half of the movie, when they're actually starting to do the firefights, that's when it takes me out a little bit, because you can definitely clearly see that it's CG.
Yeah.
Like, it just sticks out like a sore
The
thumb
hardest
a
thing
little
to do in CG when you're doing it in a movie, I'm quoting, I think, Digital Corridor. The hardest thing to do is to have a living being interact with a not real thing. It almost always looks fake.
You mean like John Turturro when he's getting pissed on?
No, I think they sprayed him with actual liquid.
It's just the way that he looked after
Yeah,
he got hit.
yeah, but it's more like if you reach your hand down to pick up something that isn't there, it looks like you're holding nothing. Even if I put a really, really, really good object in your hand and like super rendered and all of it, still looks wrong, because as a human, you know how it works when something has weight and is in your hand. It's why you can watch TV shows and it always looks fake when people like drink from a cup. You know that's empty because of how they're acting with it. They're not pretending that it really has like weight. It's clearly empty. So it's that sort of thing. And they do that pretty damn well for most of the film. Although again, the more hectic action scenes, it's when it starts to fall apart a little, but the scenes are expensive, man. There's a lot happening.
That is true. However, I will say the second movie, when we get to it, it's going to look even more
Wow.
egregious.
They put all their effort
I will
into this
probably
one.
harp on that when we watch that one next week.
Yeah, I'd say it was probably that blackout scene. It just will always stick with me, and genuinely, I would show that to people and be like, "This is how you translate something that's pretty old into what was modern very well." It's a beautifully done scene. It's very well animated and stuff. It takes place at night, which also helps. There's less light, so your brain doesn't have to kind of play that game. It's just a big scary monster, and it's really really well done. Very cool. I also like that they all speak Cybertronian in this movie. They had to subtitle them. They subtitle them in Cybertronian, and
Yeah,
then they
that's so
translate it.
funny. Yeah, for someone at home, that would think like, "Oh wow, they're
Oh
speaking
God.
Spanish."
Oh,
These
I want to say you're wrong, but
You know,
you're
I can say
not.
I can say this because I'm Hispanic, but they are illegal aliens. You know what I mean? So
Oh God, damn it!
I'm allowed to make that joke.
Bumblebee's been here since the.
Wait, is Bumblebee a dreamer?
Is
Oh fuck, that's a
official
hot
asylum.
my
Official asylum seeker. He's got
He's been grandfathered in.
Yeah.
from the Warren Cybertron.
So, here's a fun thing that I found out just the other day. So Michaela's boyfriend at the beginning of the movie, Trent, the guy who has the truck.
Rich kid.
I posted this in our Discord. His character, Trent DeMarco, is also the same character in the Friday the 13th
Wait,
reboot.
really? This takes place in the same universe?
Yeah.
I thought you were just fucking
Apparently.
around. That's real?
No,
Who
that's
the
real.
hell wrote that movie?
It was produced by Michael
What the
Bay.
fuck? Wait, so magic exists in this
Does he
world
just
too?
know this guy?
Who would win in a fight? Okay, fine. Who would win in a fight? The Transformers or Jason? Or would he die, turn into a giant Transformer version of Jason, and then they'd have to fight him?
They just fight a
Hold
giant
on.
Jason.
You said the remake, the reboot of Jason? Okay,
Yeah.
'cause I'm about to say something really dumb. Though I'm still gonna say it anyways. So that means, like, who would actually win the fight? Freddy Krueger or any Transformer? Do Transformers dream? Because Freddy
Do they
Krueger versus Jason.
sleep?
Do they sleep? Can Freddy
They have
haunt
to
Not
them?
necessarily.
I think they do.
Because listen,
They dream about. Haven't they said they
Well,
dream?
they have
stuff?
souls,
I'm pretty sure they
essentially.
do.
Sparks are basically souls in their,
Yeah.
like, biology. So they acknowledge that souls are real, the dreams and nightmares are real, spirits are real, because Freddy Krueger, Jason, there you go. So, like, magic is real, and, like, heaven and hell. Wait, are there Transformers that go to hell and that go to heaven?
all right.
Is St. Peter
Well,
just, like, fist-bumping
I don't
Optimus
know
on the
about
way
that,
in?
but-
Like, how's that work?
But in watching Beast Wars today, there was an episode where Cheetor ended up dreaming. So
Yeah, but they're also
that answers the
organic
question
in
right
that,
there.
and that's a big plot point for that entire like version of the universe is that they're organic. Like that's not just a silly suit; they're legitimately part bio, and we
Okay.
dream.
Because I say that because 100% Jason gets turned into a pink bloody mist. I don't know how you solve the Freddy problem if you're a Transformer.
Well, technically, you're untouchable if you
right.
don't dream. So if they never go to sleep, which is actively a choice they can make, so just have enough energy forever, and then he can never touch me. Okay.
But here's the reason why how remember one of the reasons why they stopped Freddy was they had to make sure no one could remember him. Even though they are an alien race, they also
could
probably
just
still have.
delete the data.
Oh shit!
That's
I
so
guess they
fucking
could delete the
cheap.
data.
He could be like, haha, I've, and then they go, I don't know who you are. And he's like, no, you have to. And then he just kind of stops and he's like, holy shit, they're not kidding.
Here,
I
Control
just
F
introduced myself.
Freddy.
What the fuck?
Control F Freddy, hit delete on every Freddy entry, and then he's just like, I'm gonna fuck you up. He disappears. I'm wrong. There you go.
Went-
He
just went in a
wins.
completely
Yeah.
different direction that I was not
I
expecting.
like this fantastic.
Because listen, because you brought up Jason, so now I want Transformers versus Jason. Let's be real.
God.
They look at him and they go squish between two hands. He's dead.
Yeah.
He is pink mist.
Yeah. You could shoot him with a laser gun that literally vaporizes him.
Yeah, he's pink mist.
Or missiles, or like 1,000 other things. It's like, what's he gonna do? Stab the metal object with the metal in his hand? They won't even feel it.
So yeah, so the only interesting question from that is obviously because Freddy versus Jason was a thing, but fucking Transformers. They just delete all the Freddy info.
If we're gonna go into the full lore, then Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. So can the Transformers be infected by Deadites?
Probably not.
And you possess a Transformer? Could a Deadite jump into the body of a Transformer?
No, it's
Like-
a virus. It would have to be a digital.
I mean, they put.
It'd have to be like something like Jumanji.
They possess
that
homes.
Can get into like.
Oh, Deadites can
digital,
possess
yeah.
like an inanimate object.
Yeah.
Because they're just evil energy, essentially, like just like really bad negative energy.
It all depends on how strong the evil
Okay.
is.
So if that's true, then yeah, they could, and they're a living creature. So, I mean, they could definitely take over Jazz because he's not alive anymore. So we could have gotten
Damn.
undead Jazz.
Both halves.
You know what would be really messed up, which missed opportunity. Megatron didn't like hold up his arm at one point and go Jazz hands. That would have been really funny.
God damn it, Will.
I approve. I approve.
That would have been really fucked up, but really funny if they threw it at him. And he's like, "What? You don't like my jazz hands?" And Optimus just sighs and shoots him.
We need a Megatron that is a fan of Reservoir Dogs.
No,
That's what we need.
Oh,
We need the
We-
Megatron from Beast Wars. We need that one brought to screen because he is a sassy.
Yeah,
He's a sassy
that one's
bitch.
theatrical.
He pretends that he's like the
He's-
lead in a
he's very
Shakespearean play, and just
And he has a rubber ducky.
he strokes his chin like a fucking Snidely Whiplash villain. It's fucking great. I love it. He has a catchphrase. It's yes. That's it. Oh.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
is very refined. I actually, the jazz hand thing, cartoon Megatron would have probably done that. Like, he loves to
Yeah,
laugh.
just fuck with them a lot.
He's always laughing.
Oh, yeah.
He's always laughing.
Man.
Speaking of, how far are you in Beast Wars now, Videonoise?
Not too far. Only about 10 episodes
Oh,
in.
you're officially further than me. I actually just got up to
Yeah.
the Tigatron episode today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a good show. I love how much they scream
Mhm.
when they transform. Like,
God.
I love how they scream terrorize.
It's so
Yeah.
feral.
I love how Rat Trap screams. Like, I want that to be my alarm.
Rat Trap is easily one of the best characters in that show. So good.
You know about the old Beast Wars, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's the only one I watched. That's the only one I
Yeah.
watched.
You never got around to watching Beast Machines?
The one when they go back to Cybertron, I
Yeah.
think I watched. I watched it on air as it came out, but I cannot remember a single thing from it. I remember there was a rocket at one point in time. I don't remember shit about it. I remember watching it, but I don't know what it was. The information didn't retain. It was one of those things that I just kept playing in the background while I did other things, like get ready in the
It
morning or
didn't
whatever.
catch you.
But I watched Beast Wars. I remember watching that like even on repeat because I think didn't it re-air. Where did it re-air on? It wasn't Toonami. It was something. It was like before Toonami. Was Toonami?
Yeah, it was
okay.
Toonami.
Holy crap!
It was
When did
a-
they have Beast
Yeah,
Wars?
because they had it on as an afternoon thing where they even had it to where you could call in for some sort of special. I
Huh.
don't remember what it was.
Interesting.
They were doing like some sort of
Yeah,
thing.
I want to say it was somewhere around 2008, I think, in which Toonami got extended to to start at like 8 o'clock.
Oh, it was
Ooh.
earlier than
Was
that.
earlier
If
than
it-
that?
If it was
Did they-
past 2005, if it was like after this movie came out or like just before, I was not actively watching Toonami anymore really at that point. So that would explain why I
I
missed
think
it.
it was 2001 or 2002.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I just
2003.
remember that Toonami took over more normal time of Cartoon Network. It wasn't relegated between 10 and 1. I think it went to like 8 and 1. And the
On the
8 o'clock
weekends.
slot, and the 8 o'clock slot was Beast Wars.
Nice.
Yeah, this was when they were doing their during their 4 to 5 slot, and they actually got the chance to do the Transmetal 2 run because Fox never got the chance to run that.
You mean?
Beast Wars was
Well, I was just when you say
Go ahead,
Transmetal 2, what do you mean? Like what part of the show is that?
Season 3.
Oh, so the end, like the last couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Really? They
Yeah,
never aired that on
the-
Fox?
Yeah, no, the air for Beast Wars never aired.
Crap.
Yeah, it was strictly just on. Cartoon
Yeah,
Network.
they did season 1 when they're on the planet, and then they go back to Cybertron season 2, and they never aired the last season.
No, that's not how that worked.
Wasn't that how it was?
No, they spend the entirety
No,
of
they
Beast
did
Wars on
season 3
Earth.
on
The
Cartoon
Beast
Network.
Wars happen on
Oh,
Earth.
sorry.
Yeah. They did
You're
season
thinking
Okay, that's what it was then.
you're thinking of the first show is Beast Wars, the second show is Beast Machines, and there was a third show planned that got
Oh,
canceled
okay
because
then.
Beast Machines did not perform well enough. So they just canned. And you can find concept art, which is wild. I recommend you look it up, just for funsies. The designs were so fucking crazy. They would have been really cool. I don't know if the show had been any good, but they would have been really cool redesigns for the characters because they would have leaned more into that bioorganic kind of thing they were doing with Beast Machines. They would have leaned more off of the organic and more into like the, oh yeah, they're robots, while keeping them organic, and it would have been really crazy. I think they were going to make Cheetor into like a race car.
What
Yeah,
the
he was.
fuck?
It was going to be really weird. It was going to be the show just essentially with Beast Wars. It just gets weirder as it goes on, and that was going to be the strangest out of them all. Hmm.
Wow. Alrighty then. Well, with that being said, do you guys have any additional thoughts on this Transformers movie before we wrap it up for this evening?
It's not a perfect movie by any means, but it was important for the time. That's all it is. It's like a moment in time.
I agree, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was also one of those ones where we got to experience what was it? It was basically the time where every Transformers movie for a solid 10 years we got a new Linkin Park song
Pretty
at the
much.
end.
Yeah.
I will say because I remember thinking about it as I was watching movies, like how would you approach talking about Transformers without like either one aping off of other people that have done it, like Red Letter Media, whatever, or just literally saying what happens. Because I think my biggest problem with Transformers is, and this is the era in which it's made, because a lot of movies are guilty of this and still are guilty of this to some degree, which is essentially just being a series of tropes being filmed in succession. And so because you see the trope happen so often, like some of the Transformers parts in Transformers just kind of like bleed together to like other things that I see or I've watched in other things. Since why, like for instance, the Megatron thing was like, oh, all of our technology is based off Megatron. My brain auto translated that to the Star Trek episode, and I'm sure there's other sci-fi things that have done that as well. But like, there's certain little trope things that, like, once again, like I said, like before, the other scene that I like is the presidential thing, right? Or the cabinet member doing something like, other than running away, where he got a shotgun and started shooting. I instantly thought of like, Independence Day and everything else, like I said before. So a part of me is like, I think that my biggest issue to Transformers is outside of robots literally punching each other, the humans being tropey just ends up like bleeding into like other pieces of media, which was like the style at the time. So it's kind of like, it's not hard to talk about Transformers. So it's kind of weird because we're kind of like wrapping up a little shorter than we normally did, at least whenever I'm here. But like so much of Transformers is just other things you've watched.
I will say, at least in the next one, we get a whole variety of ideas that they probably should have left on the cutting room floor.
Oh, you really don't like this one.
Like
No.
right now, the scene that's playing in front of me is the only time where Optimus doesn't feel like Optimus. So it's when they're like, Sam, you need to find the thing. Sam, find it. Sam, did you find it yet? He's like super impatient, which is like not really Optimus. Like even when Optimus is currently like losing an arm, he's still very like conscientious of the people around him. And in this scene, he's like, it's like an Office sketch. You know what I mean? It's like a bit from The Office.
Mm-hmm. I will say that it does feel like he's a little bit more out of character in Rise of the Beasts, but they actually give context to that, and I'm actually really excited for you guys to see that movie because I'm pretty sure neither of you have ever
No, I have
seen
not.
that one yet.
I have not.
I've seen it.
And there's the glowing review. It's all right.
It's because it's not. It's
I mean,
not Beast
actually,
Wars.
I liked it. I only had one really big problem with it, but overall, it's a good.
But yeah. But once again, like the scene here in front of me, it's like, okay, Optimus, I ask you to please just do like hide and don't make any noise. This is like every fish out of water alien shows up on the planet scenario in every movie ever.
I have to hide the giant creature that I'm friends with. Oh no! Yeah.
He's just E.T. in the closet right now.
Why are a bunch of trucks on my lawn? What the hell?
Exactly.
What kind of weird stuff is my son into?
He's into Ford. He's into American cars.
He's into truckdom.
That's I mean, it's just one.
Toyotathon is his religion.
Ford, the military, and Toyotathon. Yeah, it's just like guns, God, and Toyotathon is that whole Transformers movie. I mean, that's how they funded a lot of that. It's just,
100%.
yeah,
Especially
really
if you
was.
see like Dell, you clearly see the logo for the computer at one point just staring you in the face, and you're like, oh, they paid for it. And then they've got like Mountain
legit,
Dew,
and Xbox, as I
Xbox,
mentioned before.
anything that they name and you get a real name for, paid for, because they're a big
Nokia.
studio and they're not stupid enough to say the name and give free advertising. They're like, if we're going to call it that, you're going to pay us for it because people are going to see it and you want the advertising.
Oh yeah.
And then they'll just change the name.
When Bumblebee upgraded to his most recent car model version, you see that Chevrolet symbol is popping.
That's
it's
because
right
he
there.
goes from a 70 something Camaro to a whatever 2007 Camaro, and then he upgrades every movie.
Yeah, and conveniently another yellow Camaro.
Well, it's also, if I remember right, that color
within,
had
like,
just come
10
out
seconds.
like that year or the year before. It was basically for the
movie.
film. They made the Camaro yellow, so it's like him scanning one in our world. Super kind of rare at that point, depending on where you are. Although they make a point that, let's be honest, Sam has money. That house, they live in, I think, California. Even in like 2007, his parents are like doing good.
I mean,
Yeah, that makes it kind of. I do kind of wish they made him someone from a kind of lower.
You mean like Michaela?
class background, because then they do. Yeah,
God.
Oh yeah, and then
I'm
they
glad that they didn't
exaggerate
make her
that,
father
and
like
then,
a drunk and abusive, because I could do without that trope. Let's just let her dad be nice to her. And I love how she goes, "Yeah, I didn't snitch on my father. That's why I went to why I got picked up and I got charges." And it's like, no, that's relatable. I get that. If I liked my parents, I wouldn't do that either.
Yeah, it's written so weird because they also make Shia LaBeouf's character like scoff
He's
at her,
super
so
mad when he
disgusting,
finds out.
because
Like,
she went to
"Ooh, you're
prison.
disgusting.
He's like,
What's wrong with
"Oh,
you?"
God,
And she's like,
what?"
"You're an ass. Fuck off."
like this pervert's right.
Yeah, right?
I think what really bothered me about that, which is like, at what point in time is her dad having a record has anything to do with you in a situation in which you're currently being tracked, effectively from your point of view, a robot demon trying to kill you, and you're like, you have a criminal record, like, bro, really?
Yeah.
This is the point you're gonna turn your nose up? This is your moment? Like, come on.
Yeah, it's written so weird. It's out of
No,
character. It
he's
doesn't seem
actually
like
really,
something
really
Sam
nice.
would
Like in
care.
every movie, he's overly nice.
Yeah.
Except at that
in
moment, he just
moment.
randomly is like, "No, I'm gonna be a rich white asshole. Fuck you. Ew, disgusting. You're poor."
And like, he scoffs his nose up for like effectively a grand total of like 3 minutes screen time, and then it's like it never happened. And
Yep.
it's just like, then why have the scene?
All I could say is that if it's not the writer, then it's definitely Michael Bay saying, "Let's change things up a little
Right.
bit. Let's turn it up to 11."
Oh, there's also
It's just
there's a lot of slow mo in this movie. Sometimes it's cool. Sometimes it's just slow mo.
It's because it was
Oh, yeah.
originally
Sometimes
filmed
it's
in-
Oh yeah, they really wanted you to feel it.
Sometimes it's just Michaela's nostrils.
Oh,
Like, for
oh,
like
this
5
was also
seconds at a time,
so
it just slow-mo her
2007. You
face.
guys felt the bloom trying to blind you, right? The light
Oh
bloom.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
When they stopped to work
oh,
on the
that
car,
scene is- rough to look at. It's not a very good looking scene.
It's like nuclear warfare
My
going
favorite-
on behind them. That's like that scene
Oh.
in T2.
My favorite part is
growing
when John Voight goes to walk into the room. It's just a light from the hallway, but it is shining into the screen like it's a special effect. And I'm like, dude, turn that down. What was the point of that? Oh.
Actually, you want to know what's
Yeah,
talking about lighting? Now
Some-
since I watched it, obviously for the pod, I was actually kind of surprised how subdued Michael Bay was at the end when Sam pushes the cube into Megatron's chest to kill him. I remember when I first watched it thinking because everything else was I'm always blinded every time I see a lens flare or a sudden light change is usually way more brighter than it needs to be. That was surprisingly restrained. I feel like if Michael Bay continued to be Michael Bay the entire time, that cube scene would have been a blinding red, and you couldn't see shit. It could have been.
It was almost like on the vein of the original Ghostbusters lighting. That's what.
Yeah, true. Where you can actually notice it.
Yeah, he just kind of comes.
He just got tasteful for 30 seconds for a moment.
Wow.
Tasteful. That's a way to put that. Well, guys, I had a good time this evening. You guys have a good time?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
I certainly hope so, because we're coming back for round 2 next week for Revenge of the Fallen. Guys, are you ready for Revenge of the Fallen?
Yeah.
I'm not. Movie's a piece of
Wow.
shit.
Okay. Someone hates Leonard Nimoy.
No, that's Dark
Yeah,
of the Moon.
Nimoy's third one. Yeah.
See,
Don't disrespect.
That's
our-
testament
wait.
how they
I
all
thought he
start
played
to-
the
they
character
all start
called
to run
The
together.
Fallen.
No, that was the guy who played Candyman.
The original actor?
Yeah, the original actor played Candyman, that
Oh,
voices
wow.
the Fallen. Yeah.
Oh, no. Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I barely remember this movie. Okay.
If you call Megatron 3 times in front of a mirror.
That's how he comes back, obviously.
Yeah.
God. Alright. Well, anyways, signing off for this wonderful special episode of Big Mecha! But not huge. Have a good night, everyone.
No,
Good, everybody.
Night. And next time.